Tropical and Cool Rice Wine, Part 2. I'm brewing with black rice in two ways, a tropical brew at 30 degrees Celsius and a cool brew at 18 degrees Celsius. Watch what happened with the tropical brew in Part 1. Today is Part 2, where I'll show you what happened to the cool brew. If you like this video, please click that like button and subscribe. Click the bell to be notified of a new video every week on the subject of rustic Asian rice wine. And please share this video wherever it is appropriate. I appreciate your help in spreading the word about rustic Asian rice wine. So black rice. Black rice is harder to ferment than regular rice. Normally, I use sweet rice, glutinous rice, for brewing. And black rice is like brown rice in that it has the husk, and it takes some extra care to ferment. So it has to be steamed for longer, and also I'm fermenting for a longer time. This is what happened to the tropical brew, jar A. It brewed for 3 weeks, and I bottled it. At the same time, I've been brewing the cool brew. Let's see how the cool brew is doing. In cooler temperatures, of course, fermentation takes more time. All right, so this is the cool brew at 18 degrees Celsius. It's day 30 now. Let's take a close look. There are bubbles of gas in there, and I can hear some bubbling if I listen closely. So it is fermenting, and there is liquid, but not as much as the tropical brew. Now it's day 35. I'm not stirring this at all. I'm keeping the lid closed, but I am worried about how the ingredients are mixed together. So there's no stirring allowed. I am going to slosh this back and forth, also so I can tell how much liquid is in here. Day 46. There's a bit more liquid, but you can see it's still not mixed together completely, not dissolved. Day 52, taking a look. So I have plenty of wine in there. Day 55. My plan is for 2 months of fermentation. Almost. Now it's day 60. This is when I want to bottle. So I take it upstairs, and I can see undissolved yeast cake and maybe sugar too. So I'm a little worried about that. To prepare, I am going to boil my filter bag. The black rice will stain the filter bag, so I'm using an older filter bag that's already stained. This jar has been tightly closed for most of the fermentation time. Unseal it now, take a look. Looks pretty wet on top. There's no mold or anything, so that's good. I'm using a different filtering procedure than usual. So first of all, I'm going to ladle off as much clear wine off the top as possible. This is what you would have to do if you were brewing in a large earthenware jar. Now this kind of small jar, I could just tip it over the whole thing into the filter bag, but I'm trying this different filter procedure. It's what I did for jar A, the tropical brew already. I'm doing the same thing for this jar. So I get a ladle of the wine off the top and just put it in the funnel, into the bottle, and repeat. And it is important to have a strainer in the funnel so the extra grains of rice don't get in there. Now it still looks cloudy, but it is going to clear up a lot. I'm going to pour the black rice grains back in the jar, and to get the rest of the liquid out, I'm going to use the filter bag. But instead of tipping it over, because it's really crammed into the bottom now, I'm going to scoop it out. That's also what you would have to do in a large earthenware jar. You'd have to scoop it out like this. Now, this actually is a lot of work. It takes a lot more time doing this. So you can see why I usually just tip over the whole jar into the filter bag. I stir up the jar, make sure it's loose and liquid. I pour the whole jar into the filter bag at once. That's just a lot more efficient. But this is how I did it this time. And there's more than 650 grams of lees left over here. I was squeezing it really hard, but I was only getting drops out of it. It's still a bit wet, and there's a lot left over. So the fermentation wasn't great, and I think part of that is to do with because there's no stirring, things weren't mixed together evenly. It's harder for all the right conditions to be met for fermentation. So I do consider that to be a bit of a problem, but we'll see how the wine turned out in the end. And for the second bottle, which is going to have more sediment, less than 1.5 liters, a lot of dregs left over. But it does smell like the previous brew. It has an interesting aroma. It definitely fermented. And what I'm going to do, like I always do, is wait a few days, let it settle in the fridge, and I'm going to do the taste comparison now. Now it's 3 days later, and here's the cool black rice wine. And so this is what was brewed in this video for 60 days at around 18 degrees Celsius. And this is what was brewed, the tropical brew, the tropical black rice wine. It was brewed around 30 degrees Celsius. So that one is a bit darker. But we're going to compare the taste today. There's not any noticeable carbonation. So it does have some cloudiness. It's not perfectly clear. Okay, so the cool brew. Okay, like the tropical brew, it has a smoky aroma. Alcohol tastes quite strong, and yeah, it's plummy. Okay, but and smokiness in the flavor too. So very interesting flavor. Actually, pretty intense flavor. Okay, so I get something with flavor, with black rice, brewed for a long time, and a bit of an astringent aftertaste. Yeah, I really want to compare this with the brew that used the same ingredients, the same recipe, just was brewed at a higher temperature for a shorter period of time. That's the tropical brew. So here's the tropical brew, brewed for 3 weeks at 30 degrees Celsius. And this is more clear. It did have more time to settle in the fridge. And the aroma is not the same. Okay, so of course the flavors are similar. Right now, this the tropical one does have a better appearance. It's more clear. It looks like wine. This is still a bit cloudy. The cool brewed one. It might settle more in the fridge. Overall, I do think I enjoy the cool brewed one a bit more. The flavor is just a bit more intense. It's less smoky, a little stronger in alcohol. So I like it a bit more than the tropical one. So tropical versus cool. Well, today I choose cool. And I will taste these again after both of them have a chance to settle. They, they both have a very interesting flavor, and that has to do with of course, with the black rice, and also that this was old black rice. An unopened package of black rice in the back of the cabinet. I wouldn't let that go to waste. Had to brew with it. It ferments and produces a very interesting wine. And whether you do it hot or cold, whatever temperature you have, is going to work. You're going to have some kind of wine, and just enjoy brewing. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you for watching.